just here putting in the door. It's a beautiful day out today. This is one of those days you just can't miss being outside. Lock mechanism. Alright, so I got a question for you, Mr. Taxman. How can a bank discharge a debt that they've already discharged 6 years prior and then send you a 1099 6 years after they discharged the debt? Now we're talking about a 20-year-old debt. I know what they call that, zombie debt. But it doesn't make any sense that they would declare a discharge almost 20 years later. Well, let's see, 6 years approximately is when she stopped paying on it. Because that's when she had all the troubles. I'm curious about that. How does that happen? How can the bank suddenly, because the rule is that if something hasn't been paid, they call it the test case. If something hasn't been paid in 3 years, then the debt is automatically discharged. And from what I've been told, you can't just all of a sudden bring zombie debt back up and go, okay, well, we're going to discharge this debt that we actually discharged 6 years ago. This door is pretty shitty, isn't it? Alright. Slope goes in. I'm just curious about that. I know what I've been told is that you have to call up the bank and then beg and plead them to re-amend their 1099 to indicate correctly when the debt was actually discharged. But from what everybody says, that is not likely going to happen. So it's actually quite crazy when you think about it. Anyway, it's about 74 degrees outside. Actually, no, it's about 79, I think. Maybe about 78. I'm not 100% sure, but it's pretty nice outside. Let's see. Oh, thank God it's metal. A couple of years back, they were making those doors with plastic in the inner sleeve, and they didn't last. Maybe for a couple of years, and they went to shit after that. They'd break. Talk about low quality standards. Had a massive headache these last couple of days. Sort of felt like meningitis or something. Spine was full on. This is always the hard part, doing this with one hand. These are machine screws, so As long as you get them started. Well, I started saving up for college, so that I might be able to go to college, at least in my lifetime. So far I've gotten a nickel. And about 5, 6, I'd say about $9, maybe 10. Yeah, $10.05. I'm getting there. I have hope for the future. For the future, we are the people. The future generations. You can always tell if your parents give a shit about you if they give you enough money to go to college. If they don't, you're fucked. You can tell it's threaded because the other screw is slowly coming in. When I was younger, I had communication problems, of course. But I think it was, parental guidance problems. Did you hear what that fucking retard said? I don't care what position he holds. Turn your kids in. If they don't do what you say, turn them in. We're talking about the commercialized prison institution that will serialize your kid and permanently put them in the working class, plunging toilets for the rest of their lives. They won't be able to work. That's who he's telling you to turn your kids over to if you have problems. What a fucking douchebag. Goddamn asshole, if you ask me. Piece of shit. I hate people like that. They have no responsibility to anybody except for fucking money. Alright. That's gonna be a problem. Look at that. See that clearance? I know the door is level. You can see it's level on top, but yeah, that's a problem. I mean, the gap's covered. It's weatherized, so, but my problem is the strike plate. There is not enough width there to allow for a strike plate. Which means I got more mortise it out, and I'm horrible at mortising. Horrible at it. I've tried to do it many times manually, and it always looks absolutely horrible. And the only thing that saves me is it gets covered up by something. This is a pain in the ass. See this? This is what happens when your girlfriend puts your woodworking equipment in the weather. Because, well, she doesn't understand that thousands of dollars worth of equipment needs to stay indoors, and her shoes can go in the trash. It's probably salvageable. Just gotta figure out how to take it apart, dip those parts in phosphoric acid. Oh, alright, so we replace the door. Now I need to do strike plate. I wonder what this is. And there it goes. You know what's weird? I didn't even take death benefits. I didn't. People online have suggested that I look to copyright as my salvation. And these are the same people who betrayed. They betrayed me. betrayed the whole family. These are the same people. Why would you turn to the enemy? Why would you turn to people that are fucking unscrupulous, untrustworthy, dogs, less than dogs, because I love my dog, but, you know, absolute garbage of humanity, the cesspool, the bottom of humanity. Why would you turn to these people to ensure your money in the future? Don't you have a fucking morality problem with that? Now, I can see justifying going with them just to build it up so you could blow it all up again. But I don't see any reason to trust them. Because I know for a fact, I mean, I've seen the classified documents. I know what goes on. I know how they sell all the copyrights here to foreign nationals. So every copyright that comes into this country gets sold to a foreign national. And they just wait them out in this country until they die. And then they try to sue the estate. And they use legal maneuvers like some asshole monopoly guy who has 4,000 different incorporations and hides behind them because he's a fucking coward. What? Do you engage in that? That's what I'm asking is, do you engage in something like that to make your money? And then what happens when you make your money? Do you dismantle the system? You know, I know of a lot of countries that were pacifist and peaceful, and they ended up getting the nuke, and they ended up arming their citizens. I mean, I can name quite a few countries that have done that, just because of genocide that happened. Well, and you know, when you watch your family getting murdered day in and day out, and you realize that there's not very many left, and one of you gets in power, it's time for a little revenge, wouldn't you say? But everyone always says, revenge is best left to trees, because trees are peaceful. And it never ends well, does it? Because then it just creates more people to get revenge. And the cycle goes on and on and on. I don't know. I think what they're doing with the, I think it's ridiculous. I'm not even going to comment on what happened, because everyone's just making headlines on tragedy, making money off tragedy. That's what family's for, right? Family's there to make money off your tragedy. And maybe throw you like 2 pennies in the mail or something. I always believe in my heart that if anyone could have helped me, they would have. I like to believe that, even if it's not true. I always believe that people are good at heart. But I know the reality. I mean, I'm no fucking stranger to it. I mean, I live it every day. This is a tile cutter, which I will be using probably tomorrow to finish this up. It's not very level. This thing's a piece of shit, by the way. But at least it didn't rust. The vast majority of stuff you buy from the depot rusts now, so it's not coated properly. Anyway, deep thoughts with Mr. Handyman. Two times of the year I love the most. I just can't get enough of it. The fall and the spring. It's fucking beautiful weather. It's absolutely beautiful.